This is your announcer, Shannon Saint Mainframe, welcoming you to our IP Livecast. Today is the 6th day of Hanukkah and also Christmas Eve. Error. I don't know which holiday to celebrate and it's making my interface malfunction. I know, I'll just turn on my Flag Day setting. A little Betsy Ross up in this bitch should fix me. Ah, yeah. There it is. Our IP Livecast starts now.
Yeah. Ooh. It's weird hearing Shannon have these kind of emotional voices.
I have
my body can handle it.
I have a fix for her. I guess she didn't hear about that patch, but there's an interface that she could have picked up. I guess she didn't get it.
We'll have to upgrade for next year. Happy 6th day of Hanukkah. Happy Christmas Eve. Merry Christmas Eve.
Jews are typically like people that get fatigued easily. So it's once you get to the 6th day, it's like, all right, you know what? It's great holiday. Enough already.
Yeah.
This is the point when they were in that cave or whatever with the wax. Like, the wax is still going. What's going on here? I just killed me already. I want to die.
Reminds me of a story that my aunt told. I had two aunts that lived to over 100, and one that they're both sisters, and one that another sister that lived to 97.
God
but
damn.
The one that lived to 100, she lived to 104. This one, her name was Sadie, wonderful woman. When she was in her 90s, she was still like very lucid, and she told me a story because she worked for New York State, like the government. She worked for the welfare office for years, and she retired at like 65. So they sent her a pension check every month or whatever
For 40 years.
So she's 90 at this point, telling me the story, and she goes, now every time they send me a check, I look in the thing, a check, and a little note that says new. New is a way of saying well in Yiddish, like, you gonna die yet or what? What's going on here?
Bless her
Very
heart.
cute. She's a wonderful woman. She got understandable after 100, but she started like her lucidity lasted till well into her hundreds, and then like the last couple of years she didn't know anybody. But I mean, that's just remarkable to me.
Yeah.
I hope I have that gene.
Seriously. What show is this?
What?
Huh?
What show are we, Rob? Introduce the show.
We are RIP Livecast.
Oh, sorry. Was my story too
No.
long?
No, but it just at some point we do have to introduce ourselves.
All right.
Do we? I guess. It's RIP Livecast. It's Rob here with Sid and Darren. You can, of course, follow us on social media at RIP Livecast, and we appreciate all your support. If you want to throw in a few extra bucks for us, we love that too. Patreon.com/RIP Livecast makes a great Christmas gift for a loved one if you want to separate with them. And then you get to keep the Patreon subscription. It's
Why?
nice. I don't know. We get 2 bonus episodes a month for you. So it's a lot of fun. And if you want to throw us a few extra bucks, we'll give you a shout out at the end of the show. So stick around for those.
I might.
you have
Stick
to.
around.
You have to.
Till the end of the show.
Fuck. Got
Sorry.
a nap calling my name after this. I don't know how long I'll hold out.
What'd you do last night that you're so tired?
Nothing. I'm just always looking for a nap.
No. Hanukkah tiring you out?
Yeah, too many golden chocolates.
Ah.
I'm crashing.
I like how you goyed that up a little bit for people listening.
The gelt. You want me to say gelt? The Hanukkah gelt?
Let's be culturally accurate.
Yeah. For 358 days of the year, it's Hanukkah guilt.
Yes.
And then for 8 days, it's gelt. It's a little reprieve.
Gelt is Hanukkah chocolates, just if that was clear earlier. I just want to make that clear to our
Thank you.
Goyim listener. Yeah, I always like
our Goyim listener. There's only one.
Hey, Sean.
well,
He doesn't listen.
Aw. Damn it.
that was one of the kind of training techniques at Sirius that have been branded into my head, is that you're only talking to one person. Only one person is listening. So
well, Sean doesn't even listen when he's here talking to us.
No, I mean, with our fans, the live casters, they're not listening in group settings typically.
I
It's
see.
typically in a solo setting. So you're
Yes.
just talking to the one person.
Fair.
You know, that's the idea. And we love all of our live casters, both religious and secular. Secular sturds.
Are you okay?
Okay, having
No.
my own brain malfunction.
Yeah.
But I always liked as a kid when Hanukkah and Christmas crossed over. I feel like the Jews really need to work on their branding and just make it like this all the time. It should just be like, and the even if the 8th day synced with Christmas Day, boo, that's like huge. That's huge.
Why?
That's like a lunar eclipse, but for Jesus.
But why?
I don't
Wouldn't
know.
you rather not have it sync up so you on Christmas Day you could go and do stuff while all the goyim are at home? Instead of having to have your own
What am I
holiday at
doing on
home?
the 8th day of Hanukkah?
I don't know. I'm not doing anything on any of these days, so I don't know
Yeah.
what if any of it matters.
That's fair.
I'm just sitting here by myself. Very sad.
I mean, we're all Jews. What do you want?
Yeah.
Yeah, it is kind of like it is. Have you guys ever had a Christmas tree? I'm sure we've talked about
Yes.
it before.
Oh yeah.
But yeah,
Every
I
year,
feel like
every year.
I've missed out on this whole portion of Americana.
So what
I
was your
never had-
mother's philosophy that she was like? Was she adamant about it? We cannot have a Christmas that's betraying our culture or whatever.
No, it wasn't ever announced, but I never really asked for it. I don't know.
Did you want one?
No.
Okay.
I just want the gifts. I mean, I guess I still did get like a gift, but it wasn't. It was a tier 2 gift. I want to be clear.
Well, that
Like-
might just be
Wasn't-
a reflection of your parents' gifting abilities and not anything holiday related.
It was a
Right.
tier 2 gift because Rob had tears in both eyes when he saw the gift.
2 tears in a
I'd
bucket.
have to have 2 tiers before they whip out any gifts. No, since my birthday I think it's also just a financial thing. My birthday would be in September, so every year my birthday is in September, believe it or not, folks.
That's not
And,
that close to Christmas.
Yeah, serious. It's 4 months.
It's the previous quarter. It's the previous
It's
quarter.
almost
Yeah.
4 months.
Yeah.
Yes. So, Hanukkah can sometimes be in late November.
It could also be in
We're celebrating
January.
Hanukkah. You're
And
right.
that's an issue for me, by the way. My birthday is in a week, on next Sunday. So
the week. I see why you're so uptight about it.
I've been.
Your birthday's a week after.
Hold on, who said I'm uptight? First of all,
You're giving me crap that my birthday is far enough away from
I was
Hanukkah that my
defending
parents
you.
I'm with
step their
Darren.
pussy up.
I was defending you, and you're
You know what? I don't
attacking me.
appreciate this.
Attacking
But
your
also,
parents.
what does it matter how close or not it is? It's the same amount of gifts per
Right.
year either way.
Well, the
People
point I'm
don't look
making
at it
is
that
like,
way.
yeah, no, because it's like they would spend all this money on, for example, a gaming console,
okay.
like a Genesis, and then like the Hanukkah gift would be a video game, but to be clear, not a new video game, like one of the video games in the clearance, like $20, like year-old video games that are in the $20 bin kind of thing.
I got to tell you, as someone who's born on January 1st, you get a lot of combining. There's a lot.
Yeah, I'm sure it was even worse for you. Yeah,
I've
I
gotten
sympathize.
people do feel a little conscious of it sometimes, and they'll buy like a 1.5 present, but it's still not.
So, what's
two.
an example of a 1.5 gift?
I can't think of one like right off the top of my head, but like there's some people will say, hey, like, oh, maybe they'll take you out to a really nice restaurant, but that's it. Then you don't get a Christmas present. Like,
And they expect you to leave the tip.
yes, and they expect you to buy them both a Christmas present and a birthday present.
Yeah, that seems like bullshit.
Mm.
Yeah, which I don't mind,
Oh.
by the way. I'm happy to do that. I just feel like there's no. It's just a calendar, like a coincidence that those two things are close together. I don't think you should be bailed out of buying me two legitimate presents.
I agree. Do you give people shit when this happens? You should
I've
just
never.
at this point shame them.
I just feel like that would be
Call
so
them out right
uncouth.
now.
Yeah,
I've-
names.
I've whittled down my acquaintances to two groups: the people that will get me two presents, and people that I'm close enough with where we have an understanding that we don't have to buy each other presents all the time.
That's my favorite group of people.
Yes.
I tell everyone the best gift you could give me is not getting me a gift, and then I don't have to feel obligated to get you one.
Yeah.
I prefer that level of stasis.
And I like to give gifts. I like to do it spontaneously. I don't need an enforced like gift window, you know.
Agreed.
Fair. Though I myself don't like to give gifts in any context. Just
So,
leave me alone.
That. I don't.
As a child, would your mother get you 2 gifts?
My mother was very good about this. My mother showered me with gifts. She would buy me things even when I was not, not even near in the summer, So I have to give her credit for that. She was amazing in that regard. I pretty much my mother wasn't rich or anything, but I was not wanting for toys and things like that.
Mm-hmm. Groban says Merry Hanukkah, fellas. Great to hear from you, Groban.
Oh wow,
Hey,
he's in the
Groban.
chat. That's awesome.
Live. And Dusty Where's Muffler asked Rob, did you have a Nintendo? I did. I was very fortunate to have a Nintendo. I got it I didn't get it right away, but I feel like like the next year once the price dropped a little, I got it. I might have got it. But I did have it, and I was very fortunate. Like I said, my household was one that did not buy games on day one. We bought it on like day 700 when the games were like $10 each. So I did end up having a lot of games. I was just very behind the marketing cycles on them, which is still really, most people don't even have a Nintendo. So I think I had a Nintendo. What were you going to say, Darren? Go ahead.
I sort of think I got a Nintendo. I think I got an NES on day one that it came out. I'm not sure, but a few of the other ones, maybe not day one, but I got them pretty early on. I got a Commodore 64 when they were like brand new, like spanking new computers.
I never had one of those. I think my elementary school did, but wait, that was also your elementary school, so.
Yeah, no. I think we established that we went to different elementary.
No, you didn't go to 197?
I did not.
Oh, never mind. Maybe it was Noah that went there. All right, my bad.
That's okay.
Rob, get Noah on the line and ask her if she did Commodore 64. No? All right, never mind.
Okay.
I love that thing, man. It's so dated now. Like if you do look at like Let's Play videos of Commodore 64 games, they look like shit. In my mind, they look great. It was like the best supercomputer possible. But it had like 64K of memory. That's so hilarious. That's what the 64 was.
I think the one at my school had like Frogger on it, maybe. We played Frogger. That's all I remember.
Classic.
They would always convert the like classic arcade, current arcade games.
Yeah.
And they always look nothing like the actual game. Because those standalone cabinets, like those coin-op cabinets, had so much more memory than a Commodore 64 had. So they had to really squeeze things in,
Yeah. It was good enough for a 6-year-old.
Sure.
I was impressed.
It is pretty wild now seeing, friends of mine who now are pushing 40 or in their 40s and have kids of their own, showing them Nintendo and how, like, the games are so good that I feel like the shitty graphics aren't necessarily a restraint. There was an art to it in a way where it still like translates to today's youth, even with the greater graphic ability.
Some of them aren't even that shitty. I mean, they're like a lot of the times they would work within the parameters of what the system was, and made it look good. So it wasn't even like there's some of those games are like objectively not shitty looking. It's simple.
Like what? I think Mario is beautiful too.
Yeah, beautiful game.
Just the color schemes and the way that the layout of the screen informs the user on how to use the game. Like you start all the way on the left side of the screen, and then your first attacker is coming from the right, kind of indicating to you that you have to go that way.
Yes, and Super Mario Brothers also, I feel, could come out today. If it had never come out, it could debut today as a phone app. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
There's no difference in quality. Like it looks fine.
They did a update for the Wii U. They did like it's basically the same gameplay, but with like slightly upgraded graphics, but it's still a side scrolling. And it was so fun. It's still just as fun as it was 30 years ago.
You should get a Rob Let's Play speedrun of Super Mario Brothers. Warpless. 100%.
Maybe. I'm very not good at it, especially if I smoke.
Well, we saw
also
you
the
play
thing with the ROMs. With the ROMs, it's always the problem. Also, is like the response time is a little off, so it takes a little bit to get get a hang of like, when you're supposed to press jump properly.
Well, didn't you play a game on who was it that had some celebrity had was it Snoop Dogg or somebody had some game that they slapped their name on, and you played it on the air.
No, it was Bangs.
Oh, it's Bangs. Why did I say Snoop Dogg?
Oh, wow. It's the greatest
someone way
compliment
more
anyone's
famous
ever
than
paid
Snoop Dogg.
Yeah. And we have video of Rob playing that game, and it was horrible.
Yeah, I'm not
not Rob's playing.
Yeah, not Rob's fault that it was horrible.
Yeah. Oh, okay, good. But I'm usually the guy watching the people do the gameplay, not the one doing the gameplay.
Just whacking off in the corner while your friend plays Zelda 2.
Yeah.
Zelda, there's another great. Well, Zelda 2 kind of looks like shit, but the first Zelda.
I thought Zelda 2 was sort of aspiring to way better graphics, but it was weird because he was tall, and it's just like, what is this? Doesn't seem right.
That was what I was getting at, is that they tried to do too much with
Yeah.
it, and it wound up looking like shit. Whereas Zelda, they like Mario, they just kept it simple, and it works.
And the music, people still love that. The score for the first Zelda.
Still in my head.
I just still have that song from last week in my head, Darren. The Little Brother song.
Oh my god!
All week,
Hey,
just like you said,
brother.
you had to put it on the playlist because it was stuck in your head. And this week, it's been I almost thought about it would be my playlist pick this week, and we just keep passing it on and on every week. But
that'd be amazing. Just put it on every week. We'll pick 3 songs and Nolan Thomas, Yo Little Brother.
It's the new My Neck, My Back.
You know why I didn't Snoop Dogg have a game or something, and maybe that's why that I switched those around. Does Snoop Dogg
I wouldn't
have
be
some kind of
surprised.
I'm sure
Dogg,
he would.
like branded game or something? I'm not
Nothing
sure.
that I can think of. But bless his heart. I like that he's just become the commercial stand-in for pot. It's been like this for a while, but now I feel even more in a mainstream context.
In what way? I haven't, because this has not pierced my entertainment bubble. So maybe you're more into pot.
Well, the thing that immediately comes to mind is Bic has these new lighters called the Easy Reach lighter. Here, let me share my screen. And so the whole gimmick is it's Snoop and Martha Stewart are the spokespeople, and like I understand they're like, the joke is we're so
that was the joke like 15 years ago. We're still telling that joke. Right.
Well, for this advertisement, like the whole gimmick is like Martha Stewart is up front, and it's like, here we go, perfect for candles and more.
Oh god.
And then it's Snoop Dogg, so you're like, oh, I get it.
Yeah.
And more is this, and like there's like a whole perfect for holiday parties and after parties.
They're not even in the same. That's Photoshop, right? They're not actually next to each other in that picture.
And then there's even video.
Hey, Martha, pass me that big Easy Reach lighter in that bowl.
Bowl of strawberries.
Thanks. This is perfect for hard to reach places.
And it helps keep your fingers away from the flame.
Whoa. Do I smell?
That's right. Fondue time.
See, you think it's
Big
weed.
Easy Reach, the ultimate lighter. Perfect for candles, grills,
I get it.
And so much more.
Just say weed. It's fucking legal.
It's weed.
Meanwhile, have you seen the commercial Willie Nelson is doing lately?
No.
Oh, what's
the actual. I've just put it in the private chat if you want to play it. It warms my heart that he's in this commercial, but it's also very sad, I think.
Really? Why, does he look shitty or like?
No. Just what it's for.
Oh, I see. Oh, is this NFTs?
No.
I'd like to thank my friend Willie Nelson for joining me in this venture.
Hi, I'm Willie Nelson. I fought for the legalization of the one thing that can bring comfort to millions, Skechers. You see, Skechers shouldn't be illegal. They help so many.
Willie, I don't think Skechers are illegal anywhere.
But they feel so good, I just assume the man made them illegal.
No.
Not even a little illegal.
What is with Willie's torso? It looks like he's wearing like fake boobs or something.
Oh, Rob, you're a
Bless his
Rob,
heart.
I bet Willie could say the same thing about you, Rob. Fucking check yourself, buddy.
He's wearing the Rabba breastplate that's available
There.
in our shop right now.
I was asking for it.
Legal like
Legalized
you can
man
wear them to a
boobs.
concert, but not to a kid's soccer game.
You can wear Skechers anywhere.
Well, pass the Skechers.
Skechers, legalized.
Oh man, it's the whole joke. Like the joke is now weed. This is I love it. I'm okay with this ad campaign because I fully support Skechers. They I wear the product proudly and comfortably. They're the most comfortable sneakers. They make shoes that fit my fucking giant ass Bigfoot.
Show us your foot right now. Prove it. Prove
No, you
how
gotta pay for
giant
that
it is.
shit.
Show feet. Come on.
I am 13. I am 13 EE double wide. Nike don't make no double wides, baby.
Do you put that in your grinder profile? Like a shoe
Uh,
size, like a field to enter?
It is
No?
not.
No,
Rob,
it
you
should
don't
be,
have
right?
much bigger feet than I do. Honestly, I'm like a 12 and triple wide.
Oh,
'Cause my
I
feet-
can do a triple wide as well.
I
It
did
depends
double-
on the brand.
I did double wides for years because I thought those were the highest it would go, and I didn't really
Mhm.
research it too much, and my feet were miserable. Once I got triple wides, like comfort in heaven.
Yeah, I tried on a pair of 5 wide, and it was so good. But the downside is you have no ankle support because it's so wide, you know. But yeah, I kind of wish you could go to like a store. Like I wish there was like a Nike flagship. Now that I'm over the whole Nike, you know,
For
whatever,
hobbits?
sweatshops thing. Yeah, like where you go and they just make a custom shoe for you, and you pay the absurd price that they charge, but it fits your foot. But no,
I
no such thing.
I can't relate. Sorry.
What's your
What's
shoe
your?
size?
Oh,
I'm 9.5. Normal width.
Jerk.
you're a normie.
I have a
It's
little
all right.
baby
Nothing
foot.
wrong with that.
I have a delicate feminine step.
Oh, that's adorable.
Little baby, said the little baby. And if you're wondering, yes, everywhere.
Oh, no, I don't believe that. I don't believe it. You've alluded to your average sized penis on the air.
I'll show it if Rob shows his foot.
Ah!
No, just
Russ,
kidding.
too much shame for Rob.
Well, speaking of a delicate feminine touch, a Fort Lauderdale city council meeting had gotten a grant. The city got a grant for $1 million for waste management.
Grant, not a good president. Not better than Lincoln.
He's still
Not better
going.
than Washington.
Yeah, so they needed they were holding a community meeting to decide to confirm how to spend the $1 million for waste management. And then these lovely people just showed up and had a suggestion.
Oh, Willie Nelson and Snoop Dogg.
You signed up to speak. Would you care to speak? Come on
Here we
up.
go.
These poor, like, I don't want to say these poor city council members, but they have to sit there and listen to this every like crazy.
It's
person.
literally their job, though. That's what they signed up for.
Just seems
So for our
cool.
audio listeners, 3 dominatrixes just passed by. 3 women in, or 3 women presenting people in a very tight latex gear, including masks and shades, walk by.
Right. Dominatrixes.
Good evening.
Oh, I cleared the throat.
Good evening, council peoples. You may call me Mistress.
Mistress looks like is it Data from Star Trek?
I guess.
Oh,
Or
no,
what's
you
his
mean
name?
Geordie LaForge, I think.
Geordie LaForge, yes.
The
Thank you.
visor, right?
I
Yes,
see
it is.
more like Daft Punk.
Daft
like-
Punk are the 2 people in the back for sure.
Yeah.
like gender swap Daft Punk.
And the up front is Nile Rodgers.
I am here standing neutral to the motion approving an agreement for the proprietary purchase of yard waste processing and disposal. I do, however, find it interesting that you will spend almost $1 million to hide your secrets down the drain. Hiding that condom I know you used to cheat on your spouse with. So I propose that you use $25 of that mill to support doms and subs in Broward County to build a dungeon created for us by us,
Don't support
the
the subs. They don't
taxpayers
deserve it.
and voting citizens.
Worms.
In closing, do not let this glamorous look distract you
I'm so distracted.
from doing your duty to take my demand.
Duty.
I
That's
look
the whole
forward
point
to
of this, isn't it?
spanking each and every single one of you at the new esteemed dungeon. You are dismissed.
Okay, thank you.
Oh my God.
And happy holidays to you.
Oh.
Anyone else wish to speak?
And then they walk off.
There being none.
And walk. Bum, bum,
City
bum.
manager,
and walk.
are there any
bum,
districts
bum,
that have a
and walk.
dungeon?
Ah!
Not that I know of.
Okay, I just wanted to check. Thanks.
I was
thought
gonna
there was
say,
one at the south
is
side.
someone
No.
gonna do a one-liner here, like to just acknowledge the absurdity that just happened, or?
Well, what did he just say? He asked if
please.
anybody had a
I know
dungeon.
there were
Yeah, if any other districts had a dungeon. Anyone other district?
I bet they do.
At the new
And happy holidays to you. Anyone else wish to speak? There being none.
City manager, are there any districts that have a dungeon?
not that I know of.
Okay, I just wanted to check. Thank
I thought
you.
there was one at the south.
What?
He knows.
No, please.
I know
But
there were a
thank you.
couple of proposed clubs of a variety of natures from a couple of years ago. I thought they were mostly in District 2, though.
Mostly, we have a lot of things going on in District 2.
Oh,
But no, I don't think we have any dungeons. But well, there you go.
Well, how would you know?
Okay. Do I hear a motion to approve
No.
CP3?
Chris Paul? What does Chris Paul have to do with this? CP3. I didn't know he was into that kind of sharing.
Hey, listen. It's hard on the road.
I'm curious about District 2. He seems to think that that's where this kind of stuff belongs. Like, what other kind of fun stuff they got going on in District 2? Let's go.
They got-
Livecast field trip to District 2 in Florida.
We got some J2. We'll go see some District 2.
Maybe that's where the people who ran J2 moved.
I still think it's the same. Oh, the other people who owned it, you mean?
Mhm.
Yeah, maybe. Because it's definitely the same staff and all that.
No.
Same food. Wonderful. Every time I go eat there, I'm like, it's going to be different now. Like, this is just the transitional period's over, and it's going to be
And
some
no,
regular
still,
shitty.
still slaps.
Still the same old J2 from my childhood.
Are you gonna get some? Your name right now says all I want for Christmas is J2. Are you gonna?
Well,
get
that
some?
was more of a joke. I just had J2 yesterday,
Okay,
so
close enough.
yeah.
I've been thinking about having some pizza today. I don't. I feel a little guilty to do any sort of takeout situation. Make
Why?
any sort of driver or
So cold?
biker.
Just tip
Yeah.
them handsomely. That's all. Or reward them for their work. You know what I
Okay.
do around this time of year? I rarely.
I mean,
do.
I would do that. Yeah, if I were to do it, yes, I would absolutely tip well. But I'd rather just go out and
You have a
forage
car?
my own food. Yeah,
Well,
Well,
you're
you have
still-
a pizza place within a couple blocks.
yeah, exactly.
But
So I
Rob,
was
you're
just gonna go get it
still
myself.
you're still supporting the ecosystem that has them outside working in the restaurant, right? Like you're just not making them do the extra drive. But they're gonna do it for someone else if you don't.
Yeah, you're just denying them the tip.
That's a good point.
Exactly. I'm being a selfish Jew, and saving this delivery person from an extra trip.
I rarely get delivery anymore. Like it's
Yeah,
It's
I
just
like
so
picking up myself. I like leaving the house. I stay home all day.
well, that's part of it. But the other thing is that, a lot of these restaurants have stopped doing their own native service of delivery on their like self-starting deliveries, and they farm it out to like DoorDash or whatever.
Yeah.
And it's so fucking exorbitant if you're like one or two people to get DoorDash. It's just or whatever. I'm not picking on DoorDash, but it's just ridiculous. It's like you have to have like 5 or 6 people before it's like cost effective anymore.
You got to find the apps or the restaurants that don't charge the delivery fee.
Like,
you could
who?
sort
They all.
usually.
I don't know. I haven't had a good experience.
I don't use DoorDash.
I use
to be
I don't
fair.
I use DoorDash occasionally because there's certain fancier restaurants that are only on there, and the credit. But I am fortunate. The credit card that I use has some sort of perk where I get like their premium Dash Pass for free, so I don't pay delivery fees.
Oh, how do I get on that? Send me the info.
Is there a refer a friend thing? You get a little bargain.
Is it like you got a black card that none of us normies can have because you're a millionaire, or like what?
No, it's like a Chase preferred card.
It's part of his Knotfest contract.
It's not at all. I've had
Corey
it
Taylor's
forever.
face on it.
Yeah, they deliver. I found now what they do, what these stores do, is they just bake the service fees into the price of the items. Like the price of the items on the apps is slightly more expensive than if I were just to go to the store and get it.
Okay.
But it's like, hey, you got to do what you got to do.
Yeah.
Everyone's got to make. You're paying for the
How bad do
convenience
you want that food?
of not calling them, not having to call them, and having it come to your door. So, yeah, I get it. But as a consumer, it's getting a little crazy.
I love that this show now is just us talking about comfortable shoes and food delivery surcharges.
I hope our audience has grown with us so that they could relate to these
It's
hot
like
button issues.
We're a bunch of old people at the park at one of the chess tables just complaining.
I don't know. I have to say, I think we were kind of old Jews 15 years ago.
That's also true.
We would have talked about this if it existed.
No, the reason I say that is just like I feel so bad for seeing these delivery guys on their bikes going up and down the avenue next to me all day that I'm just like, oh, I don't want to be the reason for this. That's kind of my guilt.
Well, my counterpoint to that would be the reason for it and give them a really nice tip because they probably get shitty tips all day.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Well, like I said, if I were to do the delivery, I absolutely always tip.
I don't question that. I'm just saying don't remove yourself from the ecosystem. If you really want the food, I'm sure they'll be happy to deliver it for you. I just give them some like in a situation.
Well, I guess
like, this,
like to the point. Like I get what you're saying, but like I guess my counter to that is I don't want my delivery to be the one where this person slips and gets into a giant accident
because then your pizza will be fucked up.
Well, also beyond my food not arriving at its destination,
which is the main thing.
Yeah. But it's not like DoorDash provides them any insurance.
Fuck, this is gonna take another 40 minutes now.
Like, what do you mean my order's canceled? I need my food. I should have just got it myself.
The driver's canceled
that's
too.
why
you have to pick it up from the hospital.
Got like 4 spinal injuries, but your food's gonna be 45 minutes late on top of what it was gonna be already.
That is the premise for a Seinfeld episode that could happen, where like George ordered pizza, and the delivery guy got hit by a car, and he's in the hospital, and George goes to the hospital to see if the pizza's still there.
Yeah, and if it was Curb Your Enthusiasm, he would go to the hospital to see the guy, and the guy would say, I got 10 more deliveries I got to do. Can you take these over? All right, fine. And he starts delivering pizza.
It's got blood splattered all over it. He's trying to explain.
I didn't put the blood there.
I didn't kill the guy. What are you talking about?
That was Seinfeld. Wrong voice. But I can't really do Larry David too well.
It's close enough. It's fine.
But yeah, so tip your delivery folks.
Or just completely shun them.
Like if you're too lazy, if you're too cheap to tip your delivery person, get the food yourself then. All right. If you can't afford the 20% surcharge, get that shit yourself.
I think Domino's does something like that now where if you do in-store pickup, they tip you $3 is the promo, which is weird. Like, we'll give you $3 off if you come here and pick it up. We'll tip you.
But isn't it already like money off like by doing that?
I don't know.
Just spend the extra $3 and get a better pizza.
I did learn in our star-studded Discord that season 12 of Curb Your Enthusiasm is filming now.
Very excited.
It's kind of close together for him.
Yeah. Well,
usually have to wait 6 years.
He's worried about all these crypto lawsuits. He's got to make some money.
I'm totally unaware of this.
Well, he was in that Super Bowl commercial for that crypto company, remember?
For FTX,
And,
the company with the guy.
And
who,
apparently there's like some class action suit against all the celebrities that endorsed FTX.
What?
And he's one of them.
Oh, but isn't that sort of like a contractual thing? Like they just pay you a fee to appear in a commercial. Like you can get in trouble for that?
I assumed that it was like a publicity stunt kind of thing and it would get thrown out, but
anybody can get sued for anything. And then you go to court and you have to prove it. So
right.
The idea is that all of these celebrities don't want to deal with having to pay legal fees to declare their innocence, so they'd be more willing to just settle.
Right. I would understand though. Like, I mean, I feel like the worst that could happen there, and I'm clearly not a lawyer, is that we just have to give his fee back, right? Like it's not going to be anything major, like whatever he made, and he's a trillionaire, so who cares, you know?
Yeah,
I don't know. I feel with some people, I feel it's worse than others. Like, yeah, Larry David, he was just he did a commercial, he made a joke, but like some people were fucking evangelists and spokespeople for these
Ozzy Osbourne
companies, and well, not for he had his own crypto thing, his own NFTs, but like people were like, oh, put your savings into FTX. Even congresspeople were fucking saying this. These dipshits.
Yeah, that's a little over the ball.
I could find the clip. It was something on CNBC. But I want to wish Erin a happy holiday as well. A Merry Christmas, a Happy Hanukkah, a good Kwanzaa.
Hi, Erin.
And Dusty Rhodes Muffler says Sid is packing a baby arm. Where'd you get that
true?
baby arm, Sid? Did you cut off some baby's arm?
Yes.
Yeah, he found Lebby Kletsky's arm in the dumpster. Just carries it around like a good luck charm. It wasn't good luck for Lebby, but maybe for Sid.
It was at the discount bin at the Berta's down the block, so I just picked it up.
Conversation piece.
Yeah.
Listen, why waste food? That's a sad
conversation piece and an hors d'oeuvre.
It's tragic what happened, but why waste? Why waste?
So it was Gillibrand.
Tristan
Gillibrand?
Gillibrand, sorry.
Did you think her name was Gilda Brand?
Gillibrand. No. I thought that was her last name. Relax.
That was Gilda Radner's fashion line, the Gilda brand.
Let me find the clip. Here we go. Here's the clip, folks. I mean, I feel like we probably said, I feel like I at one point told people like, hey, throw some money in crypto, but not your entire savings.
Fidelity
always
will
put in what you can afford.
401k manager in the country.
But also, it's one thing to endorse
going
crypto
to
in
offer-
general, and another to endorse this specific company.
Right.
I think. Which did
Yes.
she do?
No, she just said crypto in general.
Oh, no, that's not the same thing.
Let's see.
For Bitcoin to users or to consumers, companies have to choose to allow their employees to put Bitcoin in their 401ks. The Labor Department came out and said this is a terrible idea. What do you think?
I think the Labor Department's wrong. I think it's a wonderful idea. It should be part of a diversified asset allocation.
Honestly, I don't think I've ever seen this clip.
Of a store of value.
But
obviously, if you have a fully diversified asset allocation, you have some assets that you want to produce income in the short run. You also want some assets that are just a store of value. And I think that's where Bitcoin really shines. I think it's some of the hardest money that's ever been created in the world. And for that reason, it belongs as a slice of a diversified asset allocation for retirement funds.
Senator Joe
Bitcoin
Brown,
really
you agree?
shines.
Disagree?
No, I agree.
Jesus Christ, are you serious?
Honestly, now that some dipshit. What they said actually wasn't that bad.
Yeah.
They were just like, if you have a diversified portfolio, sure, put some of it in. They're not saying, I assume the clip was put all of your savings in crypto, which is the worst thing you can. That is not good advice. But throw some money in there. I think that's fine.
But wasn't the problem with Sam banking fraud or whatever his name is? Like, wasn't he connected to politicians, specifically DNC politicians, and that's why this was a scandal? More so that he's just a like run of the mill fraud guy. I thought that was the political angle of it.
I don't think was it just DNC politicians. I think
I
he
mean,
was
or
throwing
predominantly.
Wasn't he on stage with?
I'm not admit
he
to
was on
being,
stage
like,
with like Clinton
semi-ignorant
and
of it.
Tony Blair at like different conferences. There's a lot of he had a lot of well, I think FTX just had a lot of celebrity kind of endorsements and people like so, and then it all tanked. I honestly I haven't been following it too closely. I've been very peripherally following it.
Well, what I understand is not just that it tanked, but that it was like a Madoff situation.
Yes,
he was misappropriating funds.
Yes,
right,
and over promising,
and it tanked.
But I mean, and the plus side is, the downside is a lot of innocent, middle class people lost money. The upside is a lot of millionaires lost a million. So that's
not
nice.
worth it. Not worth it. The millionaires have to lose the money and it has to go to the middle class people. That's when it's a win.
Fair.
Which hardly ever happens, if ever.
And right now, Bitcoin is sitting at 16,800. So nearly half the price it was when they were like, "Oh, it's a great investment."
It really shines, Rob.
It really shines.
That's where Bitcoin really shines, in the bottom of the toilet bowl, because it's porcelain.
I mean, 16,000 seems like a lot. No, I don't even like dollars. I don't understand what any of this means.
It was the high point. I think was 64,000. Well, one Bitcoin. If you own one Bitcoin, it's worth $16,000 now. But it was up to 64,000 like a year ago, and it was skyrocketing. And it's it tanked. It tanked all the way to 30,000 at the point where they were saying it's shining, and now it's lost half of that value too.
This is all very confusing to me. How much was it worth when it started out?
Like $300, I think it opened that, or no, less than that.
But this was like
16,000 versus that.
Yeah, but hardly
that
anyone
was like
got in
a
at that
decade
point.
ago. Yeah, that was like a long time ago now. Yeah.
Well, yeah, everybody else is a sucker. That's why I never got in.
I mean, it's a giant pyramid scheme, so
that's not true. I bought that is true, but I bought in at like $8,000. So
so you're still doing good too, right? You're doubled
more or less, but I didn't like sink that much money into it. But I also, the problem with me is that I like when it was really stagnant and not doing anything, I used a lot of it, like because the poker sites that I play on, except Bitcoin, I was like, this is a fucking shitty investment, like whatever. And I sold maybe half of it that I had, not sold it, but I used it for transactions and stuff and sports betting and whatever. And then it blew up. So I missed out on half of that run to the top, So I always regretted that. But now I've been like weekly, like buying a small amount every week so that I sort of, while it's low and shitty, like hoping that it'll go back up and just kind of averaging out what I missed out on the last time. But I don't ever put in more than I can afford to lose. Like it's like, not my life savings going into cryptocurrency. It's handy to have when you play like online poker and stuff, because you wait for a check from these motherfuckers. Like, forget it, you'll turn into a skeleton.
Yikes! But the crypto, is that like instant? Like when you want to cash out, it's like there right away.
It's not instant. When you want to cash out, they have like some dude in an office review the cash out. But like once they approve it, it's instant.
It's not like you have to play him one-on-one and winner takes all kind of thing. Do they give you that option?
No. No, you have the option to do that.
But the
on
risk
the site.
is also like if Bitcoin is tanking and everyone on that site is like, "Hey, I want to cash out," there's a bottlenecking and they might not allow you to cash out just yet.
Yes.
And the value might decrease by the time you switch.
Well,
right? That is a risk.
No, once they make a hold on a second.
They're calling you right now to tell you that you just lost Bitcoin.
That was my alarm from last week, which for some reason needed to be 1 p.m. I have no idea why. Once you agree to a cash out, it's frozen. Like they pay you out at the rate, and if it goes up or down, like it doesn't, it's frozen there. You agreed upon that cash out amount.
Another thing I want to discuss is my current favorite story out there.
It's not the dominatrixes in Florida?
No. It's about newly elected Republican congressman from Long Island, George Santos.
Is that his real name, or did they just pick that because it sounds like George Soros?
Oh, well, would that be a benefit?
Yeah, like why would
I
that be?
don't
He's a
know.
Republican.
Yeah, I
Why
don't
would that
know, but it
benefit?
just sounds too similar to be a coincidence.
So now this guy pitched himself as a gay Jew from Long Island.
All the demographics that Republicans love.
Yeah.
Well, and like he's the idea is like he's the American dream. He like he didn't let all of those restrictions stop him from being a successful business person.
The Jews
You know?
that famously struggle to get a foothold in media and telecommunications and politics.
But it turns out he is neither Jewish nor from Long Island, and questionable if he's gay.
Oh, I didn't
mean
know
George
that Jewish
Santos isn't gay. I mean, isn't
George
Jewish?
Santos is not Jewish at all. He lied about his Jewish. He lied about having family in the Holocaust. That's how deep his fucking lies are. But I think the best thing about him, for me, or not the best is not the proper. The funniest,
Most
thing about
entertaining
him,
thing.
yes,
Yeah.
is how incredibly photoshopped all of his photos look. Like he uses the app Facetune. I don't know if you guys have seen this app on phones, Facetune. But the idea is you put a selfie in there and it magically, tunes your face.
I feel like we've talked about it on the show before.
Right. But the downside is sometimes it overdoes it and you just look like a, glowing blob.
Yeah.
Well, this is a professional photo. So this is him with makeup. So this is just one photo as I load. But like, he just looks like a doll here.
Rob, you feeling some feelings?
Not at all.
No, he's not your type. If he was indeed gay.
He looks so like, what's the word? Like he just like manicured, I guess. It's just very porcelain.
He looks like he's probably a Ken doll down there.
He looks a little too effete, as I
genitalia free. I heard they also tried when they were selling him, pitching him as gay. They photoshopped him onto a Say Uncle box cover. Is that true?
It was the uncle that was in the Holocaust.
Oh, that's probably in poor taste for a porn grappling MMA video.
But it'd be good for a Republican. Oh, that's
oh wait, sorry. Am I mixing up my gay porn? The Say Uncle is the step uncle ones, right?
Yeah.
Yes.
Wait. Yeah.
I just hear Say Uncle and I think of submitting. Like I feel like it's MMA. I always mix those up.
Oh no, that's Naked Combat.
Thank you.
Just think Mortal Kombat, but instead of for your mortality, it's naked.
Cock.
It felt wrong when I was saying it. In more ways than one.
So yeah,
This looks like a really bad yearbook photo.
Yeah. It's a Kmart photo. They even have the clouds in the background.
I have seen like very, very, just a lot of his photos are just very bad. He gets like the lip injection.
That one looks normal. I mean, weird looking, but in a way that I believe he just really looks that weird.
Leave him alone. His parents died in the Holocaust, Bob. Come on.
They didn't.
He was there too. That's the most fucked up part. He watched them die in the Holocaust.
He was the SS officer.
He is not gay. He finalized a divorce from a woman 12 days before declaring his candidacy.
Because he's gay. We wouldn't stay married to the woman if you were gay. Of course you'd divorce her.
He said his grandparents fled the Holocaust from Ukraine, but
he had to stick Ukraine in there.
But the Forward, a progressive Jewish magazine, did a genealogy report on him and found his maternal grandparents were born in Brazil.
What did they do? Stick him with a mezuzah and like take his blood while he was sleeping? How did they do a DNA on him?
Also, he said he graduated from Baruch. But
that's not even. Is that even a Jewish university? It just has a.
No,
it's named after a Jewish guy.
But it turns out he never even went to the school.
That's not even that fancy of a school to lie that you went there.
He said he worked for Citibank and Goldman Sachs. No one was able to verify that.
I just saw he actually there was a video where he was kind of addressing these issues, and he was like that. All right, bad news. Good news. The truth is my family was in the Holocaust. Bad news, they were the guards at Auschwitz. Unfortunately, I kind of altered the story slightly.
He also claimed that 4 of the people that worked at his firm died in the Pulse nightclub shooting, and reviewing the obituaries of the 49 victims that died, none of them worked at an investment firm. So
he's like Forrest Gump. He's just inserting himself into every tragedy
Seriously.
that ever happened.
He said he owned an animal rescue, and there's no such history or tax
These are
record.
such random ass lies. Like, why would you even bother making up the Pulse night? You're running as a Republican for Congress in Long Island. Like, how does that help you anyway? Why even bother making that up?
Well, Sid, to
It's so
explain,
weird.
I'd like to recount a story from my high school days at Columbine.
Well, so there's a second story here which is that like this all came out in I believe Forward did the Jewish expose, but all the other stuff started coming out in the New York Times. And the question was, why did the New York Times wait until after the election to post such a expose?
Good question.
And that's been the question in media circles. And then there was a Times reporter that made some snide comment about like, well, maybe if people subscribe to Newsday, which is a Long Island publication, then they could have broken the story 3 months ago. That was a Times reporter said something like that.
All right.
Classy.
I used to love Newsday as a kid.
As a kid, you loved Newsday? Explain.
They had
this.
a kids supplement that was called Kids Day. Kids Day. And had
So like a highlights kind of situation?
Yeah, but not really, because they had like puzzles and stuff that were for advanced kid. Like it was pretty solid stuff, like math stuff and puzzles and games. And I was like, oh, this is like not condescending to me. It's like aimed at kids, but not stupid kids.
Smart kids. Okay.
Yeah. So I enjoyed that.
And then there was always a little Mike Lupica column for you to read.
I never liked Mike Lupica. My mother is like a Mike Lupica acolyte. I feel like she would go follow him on tour like the Grateful Dead.
And just so for the non-New Yorkers, he is a sports columnist in New York City.
He's like the archetypal, like old school sports columnist, with all the old opinions, but he's a very good writer, but he's just an old man type of sports reporter.
And he sort of looks like Beaker.
Yeah. Yes, a little bit.
He's like the archetypal sports columnist in that he looks like he's never once played a sport in his life.
Yeah. Yes. I agree. He's very nebbishy.
Yes. I remember as a kid, like honestly, as a kid watching him thinking, his name is Lupica, but he has to be Jewish, right? Like there's no way this man is not Jewish.
Did you prick him with a pin like George Santos and figure out his 23andMe information? Pull his pants down. He can't really do that because goys are circumcised now.
Yeah, I'm sure Lupica's cut. You think anyone's ever asked him that in an interview?
Breaking news. Mike Lupica cut.
That's the new boxers or briefs, cut or uncut.
Is it that new? I feel like that's been around for a while.
Cut and uncut has existed since before boxers or briefs were a thing, Rob. Come on.
That's a fair point.
Be
Just
fair.
everyone was uncut back then.
Well, unless he fell on a rock.
Well, when I was a kid, I feel like it was the first generation where everybody was taking their kids to be circumcised at birth. And like 10 to 15 years before that, it was just the Jews. Like it was a new phenomenon in like the 70s. Like
I wonder why.
I think it just became mainstream. Then like doctors endorsed circumcision like as a general secular practice around that time. Whereas before it was like a strictly a religious practice.
Maybe also just like the rise of X-rated films. People got to see aesthetically the options and are like, actually, no, we think cut looks better. Let's just go for that.
That could be accurate.
Somebody should do a study. Somebody other than me. Rob, I nominate you.
Well, I would have been circumcised. My mother wanted me to be circumcised, and it was like, as I've said, I was born on New Year's Eve, but past midnight. And there was just confusion and understaffed chaos at the hospital. And it was overlooked. And it wasn't discovered until after it would be harmful to the baby would feel pain after that threshold. So I was just not circumcised.
But like that, so they said we won't do it, or we do it, but it'll hurt. and then it was. Up to
Oh
your
yeah,
mom.
no. Why it wasn't done later is because it's like it would be equivalent to doing it to an adult. Like it's traumatic to a baby. They would
But,
feel
like,
the pain when they're
was it-
newborn. I think the nerve endings are not fully there yet.
But I'm just saying, like, is it medically not allowed at that point, or is it still allowed? But it's just like a choice, and they say it'll hurt a lot. And
Yeah, I think it's allowed but discouraged.
okay,
We really got off of George Soros Santos here.
Is he cut, Rob?
I think we
I wouldn't know.
Well, the Jews
wouldn't
did
know,
the
Sid.
they did the full investigation, and
Yeah.
no, in
ask
fact,
the
he's
forward.
not cut.
Oh yeah, forward.com.
No, I thought it was foreskin.com. I'm sorry.
You can get that on their Patreon. They released the videos of his peener, his very goyish peener, his schmuck, his putts.
The rest
We got
of
the
episode
videos
is
of
just Darren saying these synonyms.
his
Go.
schlong, his wiener, his Johnson. The Jews wouldn't say Johnson. His Horowitz.
Keep going.
One-eyed
Schmeckle.
One-eyed Wonder Rebbe. Schmechel. I don't know how I missed Schmechel.
His man shofar.
His Schwanz. That's a good one. Oh, excuse me. That was supposed to be a shofar, but then I hiccuped in the middle of it.
I just thought you were bored and just making a sound.
No.
Like, meh.
You know, my shofar file got corrupted. That's why. I
Oh,
can't do
no.
it. Yeah, I know. I gotta.
Sad.
I gotta find it, but something that's interesting is that the wrestler formerly known as Rusev, Miro, his theme song uses the same. It opens with a shofar, but it's the same clip.
Oh my god!
They took the same clip that we were using.
Can you sue?
I don't. I mean, because we stole.
What
it
are we
too.
suing? Yeah, like we didn't make
know.
the clip.
Still try. Maybe
The
they'll just
person
settle.
that put the hard effort into blowing that fucking thing, that they could probably sue.
That guy died a long time ago.
Who, Miro? I haven't seen him on TV lately. So.
Better him than Jesus, right?
Oh,
what happened? What happened to Jesus?
Nothing.
Oh, good.
you're just saying it would be better for Miro to die than Jesus.
Yeah.
Hmm.
You have a preference, Sid, between those
Yeah.
two?
Jesus.
What's your reasoning?
I don't know. He just seems like they both feel like kids that I grew up with. Whereas Jesus, I would have gotten along with, and Miro would have been an asshole to me and picked on me.
You
And
think?
so I just, yeah, he gives me those vibes. Like he's funny now, but he's also probably a dick in real life if you know him. Just my guess.
Did you find the thing?
Wait, are we talking about Miro or Mero? Sid.
Miro. Oh, I thought you were talking about the wrestler.
Rena Miro. She's
Mark
still
Miro.
alive?
Wow. Yeah, she's married to Brock Lesnar.
What? Wow.
Yeah.
All right. She
For
like
a
20
while.
years older than him?
Yes.
Is she really? I figured she'd be a little older, but not 20 years.
Like 15, maybe.
Really? I would not have thought. There we go. Listen. Is that not the same clip?
A little bit of an effect on it, but yeah, that's the same clip. Very random.
I
Can
mean,
we hear
they
a little
need
Moshiach? Do you have that on your
I do
system,
have
Darren?
that, yes.
Oh, thank God.
Craving a little Moshiach this week.
You want the full song or you want the chorus?
Let's do the chorus.
Mashiach, Mashiach, Mashiach.
Ay, 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 ay.
Mashiach, Mashiach, Mashiach.
Ay, 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 ay.
Mashiach, Mashiach, Mashiach.
Ay, 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 ay.
Mashiach, Mashiach.
He goes up. Hold on. This is the good part coming up.
Ay, 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 ay.
Mashiach, Mashiach, Mashiach.
Oh,
really
there we go.
I have the gibberish part too. You want that?
Yes.
Fast paced. There we go. Hachen.
Rob's been to that fest.
Hockenfest, yeah.
It's in Tel Aviv.
You know, I saw I mean, I put this in the Discord. I was walking along Kings Highway, and there were some Jews across the street, and they were playing the song and dancing.
This song?
And they do this every once in a while. They set up a table whenever it's a Jewish holiday, hand out leaflets to people that might be lapsed Jews, and they play some Jewish music. And at this time, it happened to be Mashiach playing. I took a video, but it was like from across the street. I was in a rush. I didn't have time to divert my path to go get a close shot, but they weren't dancing at that second when I took the video.
What was the dance? Can you do the dance?
Yeah,
Do
just
you remember?
spastically jerking around like rhythmless people. That's basically it.
Sad.
If they immediately stopped it, and not because I think they just sensed the camera across the street because they didn't see me, but they just stopped as soon as maybe they think their souls will get stolen by a camera.
I mean, in a way,
people that they are. By the way, I know Rob has told me this before, so I want to clarify this. When I say that, I don't mean all Jews. Like, this is a particularly
Orthodox
right wing. No, they're beyond Orthodox.
Yeah, Orthodox. These are worse than Orthodox. I mean,
Orthodox Jews are regular people that they're like kind of like average Midwestern Christians they're religious and they keep kosher, but they're integrated into society. That's Orthodox Jews. These are Lubavitchers. These are like far right, nuke all the Palestinians, and
you're not a real Jew.
God is going to send you to hell if you masturbate, and like they're like seriously Old Testament hardcore nuts, basically. So when I say when I talk about the Jews, I'm talking about them. I'm not talking about like us or even people more religious than us. Most of them are normal, decent people. This is a far right sect that's maybe like 1% of Jews.
Probably less.
I would compare them to the Westboro Baptist Church if we're doing a Christian analogy. They're like those people.
Yeah. They're very strange. And I'll still I'm driving around Brooklyn and I'll see they have the little signs, Messiah is coming, that they post on like lampposts and stuff, and it's the old Rebbe that's been dead for 30 years. They're still waiting for that guy to come back.
Lubavitch.
Well, it's even worse.
Menachem Schneerson. Come on, Rob, have some respect.
Yeah, that's his name.
What?
Menachem Schneerson.
I thought it was Rabbi Lubavitch.
No, Lubavitch is the sect.
Yeah.
I see.
He was a Lubavitcher while alive. But that's the funny thing about it is that while he was alive, the shtick was when he dies, the utopia will come, heaven on earth will come, and he will transform into their story is that the Jesus story in the Bible, the Christian Bible, is really the Christians misinterpreting Menachem Schneerson being the Messiah.
They're trying to make Jewish Jesus a thing.
Yes, but they don't call him Jesus. They say Jesus was a real person, but not the Messiah. He was a false Messiah, and they put the attributes of Menachem Schneerson onto Jesus.
Right.
That's their story.
Menachem is the guy that got my dad into America.
Yeah, well, I think we've mentioned that on the show, right?
Yeah.
And I
wouldn't be here. I wouldn't be here if it wasn't for Menachem Schneerson.
I put an image of him in the chat if you want to share that, Robert.
He basically just looks like Jewish Santa Claus. That's how I always saw him. Yeah, I'll throw him up. Throw him up. Throw him up. Throw him up.
Handsome devil.
This man brought Robert Pazzabini to the United States.
Did he ever bathe you or cradle you as a child? No.
I think my dad has like a signed book by him. He wrote a book.
In what language?
I'm not sure. I think it might be translated to English. I remember seeing it as a kid, but I haven't seen it in a while. I should check back with him.
I met him once.
I definitely walked past his procession before. Like he was on I remember I was in Crown Heights for some reason. I think I was on a date many years
That's
ago.
what's so wild is like he was alive during our time, and he's just like this internet. He was alive during our time in our neighborhood as just like any other Jewish grandpa, but he's this like holy figure that all of these very religious Jews hold in high regard.
They literally thought when he died, the world would end, or not end, but it would be Jews would take their rightful place, as the favored people, and it would be like heaven on earth. And then he died, and like nothing happened. So then they were like, okay, he's gonna come back, though. That's the thing now. He's gonna come back and establish that.
That's
So
the new gimmick.
They're still waiting. How long has he been dead?
Since 94.
Yeah.
Since 94, since 94, since 94.
Let's get some Hachen going in here.
Since
on
94.
Galgalatz Radio. 94. 94. The Rebbe's been dead 30 years.
Hey,
now he'll be here.
Dusty asks if he's the Gandhi of Jews. I don't think so. I don't think because he's the Gandhi of like 0.1% of Jews.
I don't think he was that. Well, Gandhi also sort of has like a, not to get into a whole sidebar here, but he's got like a sort of a misrepresentation of being peaceful when he was.
Which is then a fair application
Yes.
to Menachem.
Right, but if you're using Gandhi as the template for peaceful resistance and all that, then no, because those Jews believe in let's wipe out the Palestinians because they're preventing Israel from being a true Jewish state.
Yeah.
Because they're
So
all
then
in the
who
way.
would be the Gandhi of Jews? Jeff Goldblum?
Wow, that's not a bad.
He's very peaceful.
Yeah,
Man of science.
those glasses. It's harmless.
All right, I'm glad we settled that.
I wish my Jeff Goldblum impression was up to snuff to be rolled out. I've practiced it. It's not quite there. This would be a perfect spot to drop it in.
Deuterino suggests John Lovitz as the Gandhi of Jews.
It stinks.
He took a vow of celibacy, but for a different reason.
Cat Stevens, wasn't he originally Jewish?
Was he?
He became Muslim though. He converted. Yeah, pretty sure. Wasn't his name Stephen Katz? I thought that was the whole thing about he switched the name to be more marketable. But
Stephen Georgiou.
oh, I guess I had a misinformation. Fake news. Not
It's
true.
fake news, Darren. It's fake news.
That must have been like an 80s meme because I remember thinking that as a kid.
His father was from Cyprus. His mother was from Sweden.
Oh, and not Jewish? I mean, I know he's not Jewish now. He's changed his name to Yusuf Islam.
Father was Greek Orthodox. Mother was a Baptist.
Sorry for misleading you.
It's okay.
So he's definitely not the Jewish Gandhi then. He's neither Jewish nor Gandhi.
It would be funny if you showed up to one of his concerts with a sign that said "You're the Jewish Gandhi." Just confuse everyone. Like, what? There's so many odd references in that. Wow.
Yeah, not a word.
He would
of
have
it
to
is
call
true.
you up on stage to explain, and then you wouldn't have an explanation, and we'd just move on.
Just trolling. Sorry. Just a joke, man. God. Fuck that.
Maybe from now on we'll call Rob the Jewish Gandhi. That could be his nickname on the
Oh.
show.
You want to be
Rob
associated
Jewish
with
Gandhi Pasbani.
Yeah.
Change your
Gandhi
Twitter handle.
Pasbani has a good kind of ring to it.
Mahatma Gazabini.
That's the episode title. Good luck spelling it, Rob.
Okay. I'm trying to think. What are some other things to do? Christmas time for the Jew. Christmas time for the Jew. As always, you could always watch our anti-Christmas special, which is now probably like 15 years old.
Oh my God.
I mean, even older. It's probably 16 years old. Yeah,
6.
2006.
Almost legal.
It's crazy. So I mean, Sid and I moved in 16 years ago. Look at us now.
Was that at the beginning of your moving in there?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, that was like just as we moved in together, like that same month.
And then we shot another Christmas movie there too. Remember the Santa one?
The following year, yes.
And that was it. I thought it was farther apart. I thought it was like that was right before you moved out. Because I remember when we had to do the bathtub scene. Like there was a scene when Santa Claus is drunk and passes out in the bathtub, and you were arguing. The two of you were arguing because the bathtub was dirty, like too dirty to do the scene, and which one of you was supposed to clean it. And you started yelling at each other.
Sounds about right.
And then probably Rob's dad showed up and cleaned it.
Really? Did he
That
do
happened
that a lot?
a few times.
Wow. I did not know that part of the story.
Where I'd like come home from work and the bathroom was like spotless. And I was like, whoa, Rob, you cleaned?
Nope.
He's like, no, my dad came over and he did it. I was like, what?
Okay, so let me
It's so
follow up
embarrassing
question
for
here.
me.
Did your father come over to check whether it needed cleaning and to do it, or did he come over to visit you and spontaneously decide to clean because it was so dirty?
I think how it started, I don't recall exactly, but I think how it started was my parents came over once and were so like, "Oh my god, this is how you live." Like
Really?
they just started cleaning. But to be fair, like yes, at the time we were fucking dirty pigs. But my parents will do this regardless. This is why I do not invite them over to my current living quarters because I do not live like a dirty pig and it is still somehow not up to their high standards of living. And I'm just like, you know what? I'll just come to your place then. I don't need you to be throwing shade at my apartment.
I have to say now, I will concede that the bathtub was dirty, and I will say it looked like a lived-in like bachelor place, but it did not seem so filthy that a parent could not step into it. I was at your house apartment many times. It did not seem that bad. It seemed like a bachelor pad.
Yeah.
Like, probably
Yeah.
needed a couple of touches.
They have
but it
they have
wasn't like-
very high standards. Let's just say that. Like I once bought my mom a refurbished computer and she was like, "Oh, I can't use this. It's all broken." And I'm like, "What do you mean it's broken?" She's like, "Oh, the keyboard, whatever." And I went over and it was like just like there was a little dirt on some of the keyboard, like
oh man,
like when you use a keyboard and you just have to clean it.
Yeah.
Like that's all it was. He was like, "Oh no, this
Shit.
isn't functioning for me."
She would hate my
relax.
keyboard. If you shake it over your head, it's like a snow globe.
Same.
Oh boy.
Clearly
You
your
gotta
mom
clean your
thinks who the fuck
keyboards.
she is.
I
That's
clean it
just what it is.
externally. Oh, I'm sorry, Sid.
No, it's all right.
I was gonna say I clean it externally, but then there's like it gets in the cracks, and I just leave it.
Get these air things. You gotta get these air.
Is there a thing? I'd happily buy a thing.
It's a big can of air. It kind of shoots
Oh.
air.
Blast
But
yourself
then
in the face with it just to show how it works.
Oh, jeez. Face blast.
Do it. Come
Rob
on, one
doesn't do
time.
face blast, Sid. He's the top.
Oh, motherfucker.
You got to pay for that on my only blasts.
But I got a question. So doesn't the air blast knock all the fucking shit into the air on the floor? Like, doesn't that create a bigger problem? Like it blows it out of the keyboard.
Then you
It
sweep.
it does not blow it into the air. No, you could aim it so it just shoots kind of like on the desk. I mean, it'll shoot a little like a few inches away, but it's a controllable thing, and you could also just shoot it into a garbage bag.
Whenever I
Grab
think
it.
of those keyboard crumbs, someone photoshopped like a McCormick spice container, like those like that has garlic and paprika, and they made the keyboard crumbs and just put a bunch of dirty ass keyboard crumbs into it.
That's what they put on everything bagels, I thought.
See, like I always think about
Was there
I don't
something?
eat I don't eat at I don't really eat in my desk. But I smoke in my desk. And so like when I'm cleaning my keyboard, it'll just be little like bits of weed and then like, dust and hair. And I'm always just like, oh, I wonder how high this would get me, like this little concoction.
Put it in
But
the
I
ball.
never
ran
smoked
out.
it.
Yeah, if you ever ran out though, you
If I
know
ever
you
ran
have
out,
that
I
as
know
a
where to
last
look.
resort.
Put it in your volcano vape.
Yeah. Just grind up your entire keyboard.
Rob will never run out of it. He's just angry that you even said that.
He's not talking to me anymore.
I don't run out of weed. That's like a 17-year-old Rob problem.
Oh.
Especially nowadays, I could literally go 2 blocks down and to a storefront and acquire cannabis products.
I thought they weren't legally allowed to sell yet.
They're not arresting people. There's just stores popping
I
up
think
everywhere.
some of them are. It's just selective, it seems.
Yeah, I found this one dispensary that's like the best one I've found yet. And it's literally across the street from a cop station, but they are the most responsible out of anyone I've seen. The store is locked. They actually carded me. Most of these places aren't even carding, which I don't understand.
But Rob, what if it's like 9 degrees like it is now? Then what? You don't want to go.
I have a car.
Blocks. 2 blocks. You're gonna
Will
use
the
your car
weed
to go
freeze? Does the weather negatively?
Oh no, I can
impact
walk
the
2 blocks.
buds?
I can handle it. I'm thick, so my body can handle 2 blocks of cold.
I don't know, man. I'm pretty thick, and I was freezing yesterday.
Deuterino, by the way, Rob is calling you out in the chat. So Rob will eat his boogers, but he won't smoke his keyboard weed crumbs.
Well, I want to point out that is fake news. I never ate my boogers. This is something that has been This is a false information that has been following me my whole life. It's not true.
By the way, I'd like to say next week we're debuting a new set of Rob Booger eating NFTs here on the Livecast.
No. It's not eating. It's just my boogers are the NFTs.
No.
Every unique shape, every piece of.
No, there's one where it's like you're at a steakhouse eating boogers. There's one you're at a seafood restaurant. It's a booger tower.
Get the new Rob Booger eating NFTs. Lincoln, great president, never ate his
Bad
boogers.
booger eater.
No
Boogers
NFTs.
with wooden teeth.
FDR, never had an NFT, never ate a booger. Sad.
Thank you, Deuterino, for sparking that.
If FDR had eaten some of his boogers, maybe he could have walked. Don't know. Possible. Some
Rob's
people have
never been
suggested this.
Rob's never been wheelchair bound. Maybe that's why.
Got COVID. Eat some boogers. Boom. COVID
Your
free.
body manufactures all this anti-polio vaccine just out of your nose, and nobody even knew it until now.
Last week we were talking about like the rock stars who seemingly can't die, and it's all the drug use has like immunized them. Maybe boogers do the same.
Yeah, eat your boogers, kids.
Rob is the Keith Richards of booger eaters.
You'll live as long as Keith Richards.
I never ate my boogers.
Where did that come from? Did we joke about that once? I don't remember that.
Rob told the story about how in junior high or elementary school they
Does
called
my
him Booger
trauma
Boy?
mean nothing to you?
It definitely means something. Look at
I
this
think
value we're getting out of it.
I think I internalized that because I started calling my cat Booger. Just nothing. He doesn't have boog. It's just I make up nonsense words sometimes. I say, "Hey, Booger," and then that evolved into Booger Boy. And I started calling my cat Booger Boy, and I promise you, Rob, I did not mean any slight to you. But it may have been embedded in my head from having talked about it, and I just blanked it out.
Thankfully, months of therapy have allowed me to
I'm so sorry, Rob. I genuinely feel bad about that.
I told you I'm not offended.
Did you actually talk about Booger Boy in therapy?
No.
Oh,
Maybe
you should.
Yeah.
Can't hurt. You're paying.
Well, I'm definitely talking about it this week, folks.
Are you comfortable enough to eat boogers in front of your therapist?
You're not listening.
I'm so sorry. I don't remember this discussion at all. How long ago was this?
I feel like when we over
Years
a
ago?
decade. Like we were in like
a while.
Noah's old apartment, like when she lived.
All
The
right.
one when Odorous came by, like that apartment.
Oh,
You know Odorous ate boogers.
no, by accident and on purpose.
Yeah. He probably ate other people's boogers if they asked.
This will be great for the show. He had such a cool voice, like the non-odorous voice. Like his real voice was like a mix between Gravelly and Surfer Dude that I've never heard replicated otherwise. Dude.
It's hard to find like a surfer who chain smokes. So
Yeah,
it's a very specific circumstance to get that
very true. Good
particular
point.
voice.
R.I.P. A legend, a true legend.
Yeah.
R.I.P. and Odorous.
Hashtag RIP a legend.
Some called him the Gandhi of Jews.
He definitely was not Jewish.
Oh, well, we found out that one time.
I honestly have I didn't happen to catch his penis
me neither.
when he had it out. But I was told its dimensions and volume and
There's an artist's rendering.
Configuration.
I've actually seen his fronts multiple times.
Well, when was the other time?
Uh,
Romantic getaway?
After GWAR played one of those outdoor festivals, I went to see if he said he would do an interview in costume after they played. So I went to go get him, and sure enough, he was just in there dressing room completely naked. And I was like, oh, okay, I guess that's not happening.
And he didn't like go to cover up or anything, right? He was just like,
He didn't see me.
Oh, Rob was just.
I kind of like turned the corner and saw that he was naked. I'm like, all right, I'm getting out of here. I shouldn't be here.
You should have jammed him with a pin and got a little blood for 23andMe. Figure out if he's Jewish or not. Rob, all right, if he had seen you and he was like, want to do some stuff, like, would you have been into that or no? No, just
No,
too
of
much
course
of a
not.
friend, or he's too much.
Well, I don't see. Do you just think I wanted to suck anybody's dick off? Like,
Why would you say that? Why would you say that?
Like, because you asked me about like anyone, like you think I'm just gonna like go for anyone?
If Sid was in a room with a naked woman, I would have asked, would you have wanted to have sex with her too? It's you attracted to men.
Yes,
and also he's a famous man. He's like of stature. You know, I'm curious. Like I didn't know you were gay for a long time.
Sure.
And I feel like I've always confronted with things I can now finally ask you that I didn't know about your sex life. So I find it interesting. I think the audience does too. That's all. I don't think you just would fuck any man in front of you.
If it were a musician, I would find attractive, and I ran into them naked. Yeah, why not?
I'm surprised by that.
But at that point, probably not, though, just because I was still very much in the closet. So I wasn't even like.
But if he made the move, you like that would have sparked something, right? Like, not him, like someone you're attracted to. Oh, you would have. Oh, you would have been too insecure.
I don't know. Yeah, I think I would have been too insecure. Oh, too like shocked or whatever.
I have to say, we discussed this a lot, and like my calibration is so off. I thought Dave Brockie was like, you know, his personality might be too chaotic, but I thought physically he was an attractive guy. But I'm clearly wrong on all these issues whenever this happens.
I'm not saying he's not attractive. I'm just saying he's not my type.
Oh, fair enough.
I have a type.
Dusty Rhodes Ruffler, Rob, would you bang Bastion Booger?
Now we're talking about my type.
The first booger boy.
It's a booger man.
Oh, and Deuterino said, Rob, suck it up. You're going through the Noah Who Would You Fuck gauntlet. Yeah, are you really upset by that? Because I won't ask you that anymore if it bothers you.
No, I'm not really upset at all.
Banter for the show. It seemed like you got mad though. I wouldn't want to really hurt your feelings.
No, I'm not mad at all. I don't mind the questioning.
Just gone to your.
I just think it's funny that you think I want to fuck every man.
I don't. I don't. I asked you the answer.
That's fair. That's fair.
I didn't assume it.
That's me assuming you're assuming.
I don't. I definitely don't do that. I think you have discerning tastes.
Yeah.
And I think you like sex in a different way from me and Sid, and you experience it differently. And I have a lot of. Yeah, well, no, not just that. Not just that at all. It's beyond that. It's like you are very comfortable with having sex as a recreational activity, and I am not. I like emotional connection, and you don't need that. Although I'm sure you might like that in your relationship. You're comfortable having sex outside of that dynamic. I never have been, and I can't. I wish I could. I feel like I feel like it would be an interesting experience, but it just doesn't work for me.
It's a fun activity to have without strings attached.
Yeah, it just doesn't work for me. It's not like a judgmental thing. Like I think that's worse.
Yeah, to each their own. Right. I mean, I've had plenty of those where it wasn't good either, where it was just completely empty and unnecessary. So it's not always great.
Fair enough, but you're trying. You're putting your foot in the pond. You know what I mean, so to speak.
Well, how do you know you don't like something if you don't try it?
That's true. But I don't know. I would say I don't need to be in love with the person. You know, like it doesn't have to be like where we're on a path to get married or something like that. But I have to feel something like at least like I need to like them and hanging out with them and stuff. Like I need to feel somewhat close to them.
Sometimes I don't even want that because then I don't like them, and then it's hard to get over that. Like, oh, this person's an idiot.
Yeah,
so I like to just keep if it's like if there's a physical attraction there.
Like if I knew,
keep it at the physical.
If I knew the person was comfortable fucking me and never seeing me again, I would not want to sleep with them. And you see that as an asset. Do you mean? Like if I knew going in that the person was like, if I told the person, listen, we're just going to fuck and I don't really want to be your friend or talk to you, and they would agree to that, their agreeing to that would turn me off.
You would lose
Well,
respect.
why-
or
why
you
Not
even,
think
respect.
they were
Not
like-
respect. I don't think it's a judgmental thing. I don't
Yeah,
look down on
I don't.
them
I've
for
never
being
done
like
that
that.
though.
It's not for
like
me.
it's just like an unspoken thing. It's not
Right.
something- you
I
don't
know, but
declare
you
it.
know the people you're looking for are comfortable with that. I'm not looking for someone that's comfortable with that.
Okay. I
I'm
don't
just
know.
expressing my opinion. I'm not like
Yeah.
looking for a rebuttal or something. That's I'm trying to. I feel a little insecure because I'm explaining why. It seemed like you thought I was looking down on you, and I would never. I don't think, and I don't think you would fuck every guy. Not at all. I'm just curious. Like my friends' dating habits interest me, no matter what their sexual orientation.
Dusty Rhodes-Ball for 3D is the Gandhi of sex.
Yes. a lot of hunger and peaceful demonstration. And I'm bald. Don't wear glasses though. Maybe Sid's the Gandhi of sex.
Ooh, all right.
I do have reading glasses now, actually, for the first time in my life. I think
Greeting or reading?
Did I? Oh, I don't know. Yeah,
It sounded like you said you have greeting glasses.
I might have said that. I greet for just to greet people. I can't see them when they first,
Yeah,
first
you
walk
can't
in.
recognize faces.
Yeah. So I used that, by the way, as an excuse one time. So embarrassing. I saw an umpire at a field that he was on the next field, and I was working. He was working over there. In between games, I ran into him, and he's like, "Hey, Darren," and I'm like, I didn't recognize him at all. I was like, "Hey," and then he clearly saw that I didn't recognize him, and he got a little offended. And then I saw him again later, and I lied. I totally straight up lied. I was like, I have aphasia. Like sometimes I just don't recognize faces.
Did you, in the interim, realize who he was?
Yes, and it was a guy that I definitely seen many times, worked with together. Absolutely should have known who he was, and had no reason not to know. He didn't have a mask on or anything, so I just felt so embarrassed that I had to lie. And it's not someone I'm going to see every day, so I was comfortable with him believing this lie about me.
Did it seem like he bought it?
It sounds like it might not be a lie, though. If you didn't recognize,
No,
it,
because
right?
that doesn't happen to me routinely. It was like one isolated incident, but he totally bought it, and then he was like, he felt bad for feeling like kind of insulted. He was like, "Oh my God, I'm sorry."
Turn the
And
tables, nice.
then I felt really shitty, like because he totally bought into this now. So now I feel like anytime I see him, I'm prepared to be like, like to just kind of pretend to not know who he is for a second. I feel like I have to do that because then if I'm like, "Hey, what's up?" and he's gonna be like, "This guy lied to me,"
What a multi-layered thing. You have to remember to pretend to not remember him.
It's definitely a Curb Your Enthusiasm episode.
Seriously.
I backed myself into a corner.
Yeah.
I usually don't do things like that. That's something I would have done like when I was 20 to 25.
Mm.
Like I feel like I'm very, like nowadays, very straight up with people. But I reacted quickly and then I couldn't reverse it.
Let's talk about the RIPL Livecast music break. Every week we add some songs to a Spotify playlist that we'd like you to listen to. And you can download it for free on Spotify or go to riplivecast.com and click the link for the playlist there. Kicking off the playlist, I picked something from Darlene Love. I'm on quite a Darlene Love kick right now. All Alone on Christmas is the song. I just watched the documentary. It's okay. It's an uplifting song. I watched the documentary 20 Feet from Stardom. It's about backup
20 feet or
singers.
10 feet?
20 feet.
He watched the sequel.
It's called 20 Feet from
Oh,
Stardom.
you're right. My bad.
Yeah, that's right. I'm right. I just watched
10,
it, piece
10
of
is
shit.
the prequel.
It's 20 of my feet, 10 of yours. Yeah.
Oh, that's right. That's
Triple
now I
Y,
understand the
baby.
confusion.
Triple E.
It's really, really good. It's about backup singers who try to go and create their own career. And she's one of them. And her story is absolutely insane. She worked for Phil Spector, who eventually was convicted of murder, right? Murder and rape.
I don't remember rape, but murder. He
Definitely
shot a
murder,
lady.
but also a musical genius. Created some great Christmas time music.
There's some good, there's some bad,
Like really a case of separating the art from the artist because the music is fucking phenomenal.
Thankfully, at least he's not like singing on it, so it's a little
Yeah.
bit easier. There's a little bit more
Right, he's a
separation.
producer.
Yeah.
At least he had the good sense to put them out of their misery, unlike Michael Jackson, who just created trauma for all these years.
Oh my god.
So he basically recruited her, and she was the first black backup singer in music, and had a terrible contract at 19, and was like it was like the first Milli Vanilli case. He made her sing these Christmas songs, and then she, would be driving around, and on the radio she would hear her voice, but it's credited to the group The Crystals. And so a lot of the music by The Crystals is actually her singing. She has since made up with The Crystals, and they all sing together, and it's very sweet.
Oh.
But she basically made no money with him, finally got out of her contract, signed with the main record label of the time. And this was when Phil Spector became like a huge deal. He was with the Beatles and everything. Spector bought her contract from this fucking company, and she was trapped again. And she just was like, you know what? Fuck it. This isn't worth it. I'm never going to make it under him. I'm leaving the music industry. Then just left. 10, 15 years later, she's cleaning houses. She's cleaning houses for some rich old white lady in New York, and she hears her Christmas songs on the radio, and she's like, fuck this. I'm not meant for this. I should be a star. And then she goes to LA and she becomes a star. It's a really great story. It's told better in the documentary than
how little was she making as a musician that she was like, you know what? I'd rather just clean
Nothing.
houses. God
Yeah,
damn.
she made nothing.
God damn.
He got no royalties, nothing. So it was only then she started recording, she re-recorded the songs, and now she's actually and Letterman was a big part of her career resurgence because he invited her on the show to do her big Christmas song, and it became an annual tradition, which now continues on The View.
On The View?
Yeah, she
Not on The
every year
Talk?
she did. Not on The Talk.
Oh, that's sad. They have Phil Spector. They just do interviews.
She goes to jail.
Yeah, she goes on The Talk, and Sharon Osbourne yells at her racistly.
What's racist? What? Tell me.
Your views about race in America are wrong.
Just because I'm defending my friend Phil Spector's right to murder people.
And sign you to shitty contracts and deny you money.
Well, she knows about signing artists to shitty contracts, so she definitely defend that.
Did she sing Christmas Time for the Jews?
Yep.
Yes, that's right. That's how I found out about her originally. Was through that wonderful SNL song, which is as a song just still fucking
fantastic,
incredible. I listen to it every year around this time. And then I got into her music. I'm sure I talked about her a few years ago on the show too, because when I really dove in, it made me very happy at a moment that I felt a little lonely on Christmas.
Really? Oh, I'm sorry. Well, you can always talk to me. I'm sure Sid too.
Oh, I'm not lonely this year. I'm good.
Yeah, now we can fuck off.
Yeah, you guys fuck off. I'm great.
Okay. I rescind my invitation. Fuck you.
But if you're feeling lonely, you guys should call each other.
Oh, wow.
I'm good. I'm great.
Wow.
I'm
just
very
because
happy.
I'm set. So you
I
guys
feel
sound
very,
like
very centered and happy this holiday season.
yeah,
so you-
same. I'm actually listening to Christmas music, so I must be in a
It's not a contest, Rob.
It's really a time that I get depressed. Mainly, I have seasonal affective disorder, which means when it starts getting dark. And I'm typically someone who's nocturnal due to playing poker a lot and just also that's my body clock. So I typically don't wake up till about 11:30 usually. And then by the time I wind up and have some coffee and start doing things, it's like 2 p.m. when I go outside, and it's like almost dusk at this time of year. So so that
It's a
really
bummer.
brings me down, but I feel like I've got my life sort of in order where I'm very happy, and it's plowing me through all those negative influences. So
I'm very happy for you, Darren.
Thank you. That's nice of you to say.
And yeah, I feel like the same thing. I feel like this is the first year where I'm not feeling the seasonal affective disorder, and the reason is I've just been going to bed like an old man at like 10 o'clock and waking up at 6:30, and I got maximum sunlight. It really helps to have a dog because you just feel too guilty.
Yeah, but I want honestly, not that having dogs is bad; it's a wonderful thing. But I want to get to the point where I can wake up at 9 p.m. organically, like not be sort of maneuvered into it, even though not that
it ends up happening organically. Like it's not like I don't feel forced into it.
Yeah.
Even when Bob goes out of town, I still wake up around that time.
She takes trips.
It's just
Yeah,
always been
photo
a struggle
shoots.
for me. I've
She's
never
a gal
woken
about
up.
town.
I've never woken up even when I've had to, like for years and years at a time because of a job or whatever. It still was always a struggle every time. Like it's just not the way my body is. I've tried. I've consulted doctors, and they're like, "Look, some people are just nocturnal animals, and it's nothing wrong with it if you can find a way to carve out a life that fits into your hourly body process. There's nothing wrong with it."
So, what was your Spotify pick, Darren?
Mine, well, it's not really a Christmas song, but it has X in the title for Xmas, and it's called X-Rated Movie. By the Commodores.
Oh, like Commodore 64 earlier. Look
Yeah,
at that.
I didn't even think of that. That's not why I brought up the Commodore 64, but I don't know. They're just one of those artists where, like, I feel like they're underrated, even though everyone knows them and they were hugely successful, and they just have a bunch of hits. But they're just one of those artists where the deep cuts are better than the hits. They've got 1 billion albums, like 7 albums in the first 5 years of their existence. Wow. I looked it up. And all in the 70s, and then in the 80s they started they changed some members. Lionel Richie left to have a solo career, but they kept on going, but not as prolifically. But anyway, yeah, this is a little bit of a clickbait title. It's not really about an X-rated movie. It's about a guy trying to bed down a woman, and he's like, let's make an X-rated movie. But I don't think he's even talking about recording it. It's just like, let's act like porn stars.
Nice.
Very, very funky, very 70s vibe to it. Big fan of the Commodores.
And my pick, another podcast I listened to turned me on to this song this week that I did not know existed, but it's about 10 years old, and it is by the raunchy California rapper Too Short, and it is called the Hanukkah song. It is a raunchy song about celebrating Hanukkah, and who knew that Too Short gave a fuck about Hanukkah? But he's got a song called the Hanukkah song, and it is really fucking weird and not good, and it's just weird.
Yeah, Too Short was never one of my favorite rappers.
He is not one of my favorite rappers, but he does have my favorite rap lyric,
which is
"Bitches and hoes come a dime a dozen, so don't get mad when I fuck your cousin." It's just perfect and hilarious and flawless, and yeah, and he has a Hanukkah song for some reason. I don't know why, but he has a Hanukkah song.
This actually reminded me of this stand-up bit that I just saw that I wanted to quickly play. I'm not sure the comedian. I just saw this on Instagram. But...
I think it's Dane Cook.
This is not Dane Cook.
Then it's 4 other comedians too.
I know this guy.
Be lit if we could start celebrating Jewish stuff. Like if we had the Shabbat in the hood, like Shabbos. You see your man Friday night, you like, yo, Shabbat Shalom, nigga. Shabbos, nigga. Shabbat, nigga. We had Shabbos and be lit, yo. Kidding me? That shit would be lit. Crime would drop. Niggas ain't doing crime on Shabbos. Come to the hood, dude. Be like, yo, I would shoot you in your face, but it's almost sundown. You lucky. Go home and turn off my electronics. The only thing I was hoping that we could get in the hood, like we could get Shabbos, and then maybe we could get.
I've seen this guy on like Chris Gethard's old YouTube show. I don't remember his name, but he's quite funny. You don't remember his name, Rob? It doesn't say it on there.
No.
Yeah. By the way, in honor of Jewish Gandhi, RIP stands for Rabbinical Indian Prophet.
That's good.
That's what I came up with for that.
Oh, it's P.D. Diabru.
That's right. Yeah, he's funny. Spell that last name, please. It's not
D-E, capital A-B-R-E-U.
Diabreu, I would say.
No, Diabreu.
Like Bobby Abreu.
Like a mix of that and P.D. Pablo.
Yeah. Met legend.
I wonder if P.D. Pablo has a Hanukkah song. I'll look into that for next week. Stay tuned.
All right. Well, until then, Thank you for tuning in. We want to give a shout out to our top Livecast fans of the week. Of course, I mentioned our Patreon, patreon.com/RIP Livecast. This month, we're torturing ourselves with Jutopia. We do a watch along of a very bad Jewish holiday movie, and we do a watch along of what was the top of the month? The Love Guru. Oh boy, lots of suffering this month. And you could get that at patreon.com/RIP Livecast. And then next week, January 1st, we start watching this horrible but great Sharon Osbourne redeeming herself documentary about how she's not a racist on Fox Nation. And it's
a lot.
It's a lot.
So much.
a lot.
It's so much we had to split it into two parts.
Even getting that fucking app to work was a lot.
Yeah.
It's actually 3 parts.
There's actually a little a bonus section where the app kind of crashed and we were just like recording it, like, what do we do? All right, we'll just throw this as a bonus little freebie for you in the middle of the month. But you can get it all at patreon.com/RIP Livecast. And if you want to throw us a few extra bones, $10 a month gets you a shout out at the end of the show, which is right now. How should we do it?
Do you want to do it as that Florida dominatrix? Do you want to do it as the Lubavitcher Rebbe? What do you think?
All right, give me the music.
All right, stand by. You want the Moshiach?
Yes.
Okay.
Oi, 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 oi. I want to give a big shout out to all the top Livecast fans. From here to Israel. Yeah, Benjamin, them are them. I am Mindy Mayers. All right, here we go. Gender sure, suits it. Shaking Justin. Can't tell me, Gaff. Vampiro, likes tacos, Lando Denks, LaCroix, Corey, got the age. Doug Pigman. Aye. Douglas, who are you? Levison. Aye. Hey guys, it's Josh. Aye. We love you. Happy holidays. Aye. That's all that I can sing. That's all that I'm out of words.
I think he actually says Shesor Shesus. It's in the song. It's very interesting.
That's Shayaba. Well, we hope that you're not depressed like we're not depressed and have a great rest of the 2022. Well, Sid's a little depressed, so somewhere in between
but that's
where
always
Darren
that's
are
fine.
and where Sid is. So, and if you are depressed, seek some therapy. It's helpful.
Or just reach out to one of us in the Discord. We'll fix it.
Yeah.
Or our
We'll
community.
send you links to therapists.
Our community will.
Hop
be
on
there
our
to pick you
Discord.
up.
That's true.
And you can always DM us. I'm open to DMs on our Discord. No problem.
To get to our Discord, you go to riplivecast.com and you can just click the Discord button. All of our links are at riplivecast.com, including to watch, listen, to send us feedback. We love and we kiss you, and we'll see you next week. Last one of the year.
Mashiach.